Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting edition of English Comp 1. As you can see, I'm in my music studio again. Started making a video, and my upstairs tenants came down and started the washing machine. This week, we're going to be talking about a few things. Let me bring up the syllabus here. First, I want to talk about incorporating quotations as evidence, citing sources in MLA style documentation, um, comparison and contrast as a writing strategy, and I also want to talk about essay one. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about quotations as evidence. Um, a lot of people do either one of two things, and both of them are a little bit, extreme. One, they incorporate quotations, meaning direct quotes. You've probably seen this in novels and stuff where they put quotation marks that's directly, word for word, what the person said. People will do either they'll plaster their entire paper with quotes to the point where it's like, where's your original thought? Or two, they won't use any quotes at all. Somewhere in the middle is a happy medium that I hope that you'll embrace. Now, quotes are important. Quotes basically are used when the original quotation that you're citing um, has much more impact, much more meaning than if you were to take it and put it in your own words. For example, we might, quote Teddy Roosevelt when he said, this day we will, not Teddy Roosevelt, excuse me, Franklin Roosevelt, when he said, this is the day that will live on in infamy, talking about Pearl Harbor. We might not want to paraphrase that or summarize that because it would lose its original meaning. So use quotes sparingly. And I'm going to send you a link to really show you how to use MLA in text citation. MLA is a little bit tricky. I go over it all the time in the classroom. Trouble is with online is we don't have what we call a Blackboard or learning management system. As a result, it's kind of hard for me to demonstrate how to use it. I'm going to look on YouTube and find a couple of resources for you guys to use, so that way it makes it a little bit easier. I also wanted to go over the using comparison and contrast as a writing strategy. Now, when we were kids, we probably did comparison and contrast quite often, right? We might look at something and say it's one size, another thing and say it's another. For example, this amp is smaller than that amp. Or, this is what we call a big guitar, and this is what we call a small guitar. Okay, pretty simple. When we're using it in writing, though, we want to go above the obvious. We can tell that something's red and something else is white. When you're writing, what you want to focus on are the things that most people don't ordinarily think about. If you're comparing and contrasting, um, current laws, let's say laws against marijuana, against laws against prohibiting the sale of tobacco to minors, you might say, people have never died from smoking pot, but they die all the time from smoking cigarettes. I don't do either, so don't ask. But I'm just giving you an example. Um, you can compare ideas. Look at Mark Twain's story, where he compares different ideas. An excellent example of that is a story that we will be looking at this week, in particular, Killing Chickens. This is a pretty gory story, so I want to make sure that you understand the purpose of this. Um, here she is. She's divorced now. Her ex-husband left her, and she's comparing how she's had to, kind of compartmentalize her life to killing chickens in the backyard. It's a very interesting story. A little gory, so please, be careful. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is essay one. Some of you've already sent it to me. Hold on. Maybe you'll have to revise that. Essay one is your turning point narrative. You're basically going to be taking an event from your life, and you're going to tell me what happened. You want to use an engaging introduction. Think about Anne Fadiman's Underwater or about suffering. Tell me what happened. What logically or however way you want to organize it happened. How did this change you? Okay. In the last paragraph, your conclusion, I want you to really put on your thinking caps and think about what might have happened as a result of if this event hadn't happened to you. Maybe nothing. That's okay. Think about, what we call cause and effect, which we'll get into later. Talk about consequences. I had a student who, sent an email to the wrong address. And these two people started talking. Next thing you know, she was flying to meet him. Next thing you know, they're getting married. Now they've been in this country for something like 13 years. No, 10 years, excuse me. And they have 2 kids. Now, what would have happened if she hadn't sent it to the wrong email address? She wouldn't have gotten married. Obviously, yours will probably not be that extreme, but thankfully that one there had a happy ending. Around the turn of the century or so, I believe, 2 people met on a boat on the way over here, and once they got off the boat from England, they got married with my grandparents. It sounds like a romantic story, doesn't it? Unfortunately, my grandfather was actually leaving behind his Scottish wife over there in Scotland. And after he died, things had to get divvied up into 3 people, my mother's sister, and my half-aunt over there in Scotland someplace. But what would have happened if they hadn't met on the road? That wouldn't be here, right? Never underestimate the impact that an event can have. It may not look so important now, but maybe the life lesson that you learn, you can take and pass on to your kids or to friends or whatever. Okay. I expect you to use a title page. I expect it to be double-spaced. A title, essay 1 doesn't count. Narrative essay doesn't count. Come on. Smart enough. 3 to 4 pages. And I mean 3 to 4 full pages. I've had students give me, 2 pages and a paragraph. That's not 3 pages. 3 to 4 pages. Double-spaced. You don't need to cite references yet. We're not really getting into that. Of course, if you do want to cite a reference in your first essay, I will provide information on doing that. And I believe essay 1 is due. Outline. Don't worry. Yeah, you're going to be doing an outline. I want you guys to do the outline on this one because normally in class we do an outline. So it'll be the next week, Saturday, and this will be your outline in your rough draft. Okay. Now I've given you guys some information about doing outlines. Follow your book. And I've also given you some tips on how to organize your first essay, choosing an appropriate method of organization, introduction, body, and conclusions. I want to talk a little bit more about that in another video, but I want to get you guys let you guys hit the ground running, if you will, on essay 1. Now, I want you, if you have already sent me essay 1, I want you to review it, and I want you to take a look and make sure that it's definitely 100% what you want to send me. Okay, so do that. If you want to send it to me back to me, I will read it. Remember your outlines. I will be taking points off for no outline. I'll be taking points off if it does not meet the length requirement. All right, take care.